Hello students, this is Uttkarsh, Bhargava. In this lecture, I'm going to continue with the unit number 2 of class 11th Economics IED. So till the last video, we are done with the concepts of liberalization, privatization, and we have started with the globalization. Globalization का मतलब मैंने आपको क्या बताया था? Guys, globalized होने का मतलब क्या था? It was all about increasing in the openness. Openness मतलब when you are trying to make your economy open for all the entrepreneurs, for all the corporate houses, that yes, you are invited and you have to come in our economy and make investments. And simultaneously, the entrepreneurs of our economy are also open, are also liberal to go to some other economies in order to invest. So this is the simple agenda of globalization. So as you can study, the definition is that it may be defined as a process associated with increasing openness, means how much your economy is open. Next, growing economic interdependence, means how much your economy is dependent on other and how much other are dependent on you. Globalization always leads to interdependence. When your economy is not efficient enough to produce something, then they would choose some other economy to import that good. And by time, we get dependent on them. And same happens with us also. Maybe some other economy is dependent on us for some particular good or a service. Like I said you in the last class, that the number one exportable item in the present scenario in India is softwares. So many countries are there who are dependent on India for the exports, exports of this softwares. And then deepening economic integration in the world economy. That if you are globalized, then yes, there is a scope to integrate in some other economies, that how much you are in demand, how much a brand value do you have in that economy. Like I have given you the example of Chinese product in India. Chinese product, again, they all are mostly are imported from China. And Chinese products are there in each and every category of the products, from a simple pen to paper products to the engines to the toys to the simple daily consumable stuff. So this is the symbol of how deeply they are integrated in our economy. Now, what are the strategies which are promoting this globalization? Simple. Increase in the equity limit. I told you about this in the last lecture also. Equity limit means what? That how much they are eligible to invest in a particular sector. कि एक particular sector में वो कितना invest कर सकते हैं. The thing is this, guys, that if, say, Government of India has opened 50% of investment, the equity limit in the food industry. In that case, a foreign investor is eligible to do, or only permission that particular individual entrepreneur have is to invest only 50% in the a particular food farm, food manufacturing farm or something like that. So this simply reflects what? That the equity limit is just 50%. In some sectors, it went up to 100% in the recent times. Like, I guess I have given you the example of the retail sector. It happened recently actually. It happened recently in the January 2018 that the government of India has opened the gates for the 100% FDI. FDI is foreign direct investment in the retail sector as well. Now what does that mean? 100% FDI means that they are eligible to do, now they have the permission to make 100% investment in the retail sector. Means what? अगर अभी भी ना समझ में आया हो तो, that now they have the permission to come and to launch their own personal brand with their 100% ownership. So this sometimes seems a very bad thing, but from the perspective of a developing economy like India, it may be considered as a good thing as well, because we have lack of employment opportunities. So the companies like, if I take best example in the world, that's Walmart. So Walmart is a leader in the retail sector. Now that thing presents this only, that they are going to come and they are going to provide a lot of employment in our economy. So that is the basic meaning of this, the increment of the equity limit from 40 to 51% to up to the 100%. So equity limit of foreign capital investment was raised from 40 to 51%, and recently it is up to 100% in many sectors in India. Now, the next is the long-term trade policies. Notice that the trade policies should be long in their terms. The long-term trade policies encourage the foreign investors. Look, we are going to find a good economic stability over there, the good political stability over there. The ruling party is not going to change again and again, and if the party changes, the policy will remain same. So such kind of sense of satisfaction should be there for the investors. If the investors are feeling like, what is the use to invest in an economy where the political stability is not there, where this assurance is not there that if I am coming in this particular economy, then the government of that economy will be with me at any cost, doesn't matter which party is there in the power. I've given you the example of China. Why China is the center of interest among almost all the big entrepreneurs, among almost all the big production units. Why it has become the center of interest? The thing is this, that China has the biggest, or you can say the safest government structure, because it has the single party system. There is only one party in China known as the People's Republic of China, and by the end of every term, only the leaders will gonna change, not the policies, because policies are constructed by the party, not by the leaders. This is the thing why China has become the center of interest, why everybody wants to go in China and start its production. So the trade policy should be longer enough to attract the foreign investors, so that they can find a cozy environment for them, an environment which is safer, which is efficient, which may lead to higher productivity. Third point, reduction in tariffs. Tariffs means what, guys? These are the taxes on imports. Imports are basically done to fulfill the demand of the public. We import because sometimes we don't have that product available in our economy. So we need to import that thing. Now when we are talking about reduction in tariff, you must be thinking it is not at all a good thing for us. If we are reducing tariffs, it is not at all a good thing for us. But if we are opening the gates for the outsiders to let them come in, so we have to keep the gate open for our people to let them go out. The thing is so simple. Means you cannot do this thing that the gate should be opened only for the outsiders, not for the insiders to go out. So actually globalization would be encouraged only when the tariffs are reduced. So that, this is the sort of taxes which was imposed on imports, exports, that was reduced gradually so that the bilateral trade between the economies would get improved by time. Now, let us talk about some interesting facts, some interesting things. Positive impacts of reforms. What are the positive impacts of reforms? There are numerous positive impacts of reforms. They got a lot of benefits. So the benefits, if I count the major things which has happened because of reforms, was we got a lot of employment, our poverty level reduced, we got high standard of living, the GDP got increased, economy is constantly growing just after the reforms. So a lot of good things happened, but we do talk about the negative things what have happened. So let us start with positive things, the positive impacts of reforms. The first point is increase in foreign investment. After the reforms, the foreign investment got increased. The foreign investment, why the foreign investment got increased? If the economy is providing a liberal environment, the environment in which the private sector is encouraged, with the government of that economy is inviting the private corporate houses to please come and invest in our loss-making PSUs, loss-making companies. In such economies, investors eagerly want to go because the government is there to help them. So, private foreign investment has taken a jump after the adoption of new economic policies. Of course, it went so high. You will get to know about that thing later in the last sentence when you will know about the value which has been increased by time. Now, this has been a great relief to the Indian planner because Indian economy was not generating enough of surplus for reinvestment. So now, I will not say that we have surplus of amount, we have too high surplus of amount so that we can complete our demands, because by time if the value is increasing, the surplus amount is increasing, simultaneously the population is also increasing. So the thing is this, that the deficit of the budget is still there, the demands are not getting fulfilled. The foreign investment increased from $100 million in 1991 to $36 billion in 1516. For those students who don't know the meaning of million, a million contains in Indian rupees, a million contains 10 lakhs. 10 lakhs. So 100 million means what? 100 million, that is how much? 1000 lakhs. 1000 lakhs means 10 crores. So which was in 1991, and now it is 36 billion. Huge amount. So 36 billion is there. So 1 billion is equals to 100 crores in Indian terms. Now, huge capital reserves, huge capital foreign exchange reserves we have now. So again, a salute to the Indian policy makers, especially Dr. Manmohan Singh, who constructed the Indian economic reforms, and because of that we got such a huge stock of foreign exchange. Point second. Drift from monopoly to competitive market. I hope you remember the meaning of monopoly. Monopoly means when there is only one guy in the market, when there is only one seller in the market. A monopolist is basically that individual who is ruling the market. Before the reforms, the monopolist was there in the market, who was ruling the particular region. And just because of the government support, just because it was regulated by government, a sort of monopoly was there. But because of the Indian economic reforms, the monopoly got demolished. So many companies entered, so many strategies entered with latest technology, with latest marketing skills. Ultimately, that resulted in the abolition of that monopoly. And we, the consumers, got the maximum benefit from that. How we got? Because competition leads to betterment of the product, because the competition leads to fall in the prices, because the competition leads to only one thing, that is betterment of the quality of the product by time. Because companies keep on investing on R&D, on research and development. Companies was constantly investing on it. कंपनीज का लगातार इन पर इन्वेस्ट करना हमारे लिए सबसे ज्यादा फायदेमंद था, एंड दैट वाज बेनिफिशियल फॉर अस ओनली. सो launch of NEPs, new economic policies, has caused a significant shift in the structure of Indian market. So the market structure shifted. Indian markets are now more competitive in nature, which results in more efficiency and more growth. So the Indian markets has become very, very competitive now. The cutthroat competition exists over there. In India, companies who are not setting up their particular brand in the minds of their consumers, who are not thinking out of the box, who are not efficient enough to make any standards for the consumers, those companies will surely be out of the market. Why? Because consumers has a lot of options right now. A lot of options. Next, a check on inflation. Means what? Fall down in the inflation. Inflation has fallen down. The plus point of economic reforms is that it has controlled the inflation from 16.8% in 1991 to 5.48% in 15-16. So yes, it has fallen to such a lower level now. It's almost 3 times lower. So the thing is this, that reform has decreased this level of inflation, and I would give credit to only one thing, that is the competition. Fourth one, rise in exports. The exports went so high. Why it went so high? It went high just because of, you can say that, a lot of production units entered in India. A lot of companies who entered in India were among the mega exporters, which benefited India as well. So India experienced, after reforms, India experienced drastic increase in textiles, IT industries, auto parts, etc. Then fifth, rise in economic growth rate. The growth of GDP increased from 5.6% during 1990 to 7.6% during 15-16. So GDP also increased. The thing is this, guys, as I told you in the last video as well, that the GDP which has been increased from 5.6 to 7.6%, the thing was this, that previously it was increasing by this percent, but the amount of the total GDP was low. Though the percentage has been increased, but along with this percentage, the amount has been increased drastically. No, with a very huge proportion, you can say. So the thing is this, that now the GDP of India is among the trillion economy, the trillion dollar economy. Only 3 countries are there who belongs to this regime. That is US, China and India, a trillion economy. The next is rise in foreign exchange reserves. Previously, we are talking about, so there was the foreign investment and now it is the foreign exchange reserves. Previously, the foreign exchange reserves increased to 368.3 billion. My God, very huge amount. Very, very huge amount. 368.3 billion in 2016, which was only 3.7 billion in 1990. So the foreign exchange reserves has become so high now in India. Now the negative impacts of reforms. Now what are the negative impacts? First one is increase in competition from domestic industries. If I talk about the negative thing of the reforms, so less thing comes in our mind. Not so many things will come in our mind. Means like reforms was really very good thing. Then what was the negative thing we was associated with them? I don't know. But yes, as I said in my last video, everything contains its pros and cons. Everything contains its pros and cons. So let's talk about their pros and cons. First is increase in competition for domestic industries. So there was not a pros, that is of course a con, the negative thing. Domestic industries, just think from the perspective of a domestic industrialist. From their point of view, if the government of your economy, which was previously providing you a safer environment to flourish, but that government has opened the gate for the others. So many domestic industrialists oppose that thing, that now how we are going to compete, how we are going to stand in front of them. Of course, they will come with huge investment, with the latest technology, with the latest marketing skills. So in that time, the government of India said only one thing, that this is the time for the survival of the fittest. the best answer of every question. If you are efficient enough, then please come in the market and compete if you can. So domestic industrialists got very huge competition. So many companies, big companies were there who either got insolvent or acquired by the big fishes. So many companies were there. Like one of the very big example in the soft drink industry, I guess every viewer of mine, they have heard about the name ever in their life, Campa Cola. We often call Coca-Cola as Campa Cola. We often call any soft drink as Campa Cola. The name Campa Cola is still there in our talks. This word. Do you have any idea what was Campa Cola in India? It was a very huge brand. But that brand who ruled for about 2 decades in India got insolvent just after the few years of the entry of Coca-Cola. Because Indian people, for us, prestige is a bigger thing. And prestige comes when you are consuming, when you're using an imported brand. So just because of that brand thing, Coca-Cola take away Campa Cola. Similarly, a very big brand who was leading the market just because of its quite weird taste, quite weird gassy thing which it even presently it has. I'm talking about the very big brand Thumbs Up. Thumbs Up was an Indian brand, but then just because of the dominated behavior of Coca-Cola acquired Thumbs Up. So either the big fishes acquire the small fishes or the small fishes dies. They got insolvent. So the first demerit of reforms is because of reforms, the level of competition for domestic producers increased drastically, due to which they are no more able to compete with the advanced technology which was coming in India from abroad, which leads to abolition of many domestic small-scale industries. So many industries who were small in scale, who were working good in their particular region or a particular area, but just because of the competition which was coming from the big brands, they were not able to stand in front of them. So many companies went insolvent in that time. Second, and one of the most important negative effect of reform is the neglect of agriculture. None of among the 3 pillars of reforms, which was L, P and G, none of them was directly benefiting the agriculture sector. None of them. Directly. So the thing is this, that agriculture sector, what the government of India was thinking, that if you want to decrease the problem of increasing poverty unemployment, and to decrease the level of your burden of borrowings, the only solution was to invest in the industrial and the tertiary sector. And they did this thing really very well through the reforms. They did it really very well. So in the wake of NEP, focus shifted from agriculture to industrial and tertiary sector. Means suddenly the people start looking for either industrial or tertiary sector. So you can say this thing that even some sort of food crop shortage we experienced. But suddenly, because of this revolution, the industrial and the tertiary sector, especially the tertiary sector, because when the telecommunication and the computer industry entered in India, it was a kind of a big, you can say a big blow for the Indian tertiary market, because now it has become, as you know this thing, that India is the mega exporter of softwares. The IT industry is at its peak right now. So many people are earning millions and billions of rupees from this industry. So the focus shifted from agriculture. Previously, the India used to be known as the agriculture-oriented economy, but now this thing has been changed, due to which the agriculture sector suffered setback. Neglect of agriculture result spread of poverty, because majority of Indian population depends upon this sector. So इसकी वजह से क्या कि भाई poverty भी बहुत हुई, गरीब किसानों को बहुत प्रॉब्लम फेस करनी पड़ी, क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली दिक्कत यही आई कि जब इतनी हैवी पॉपुलेशन उस पर डिपेंड करती है तो उसको तो बिल्कुल ही नजरअंदाज किया जा रहा है. बट स्टिल बाय टाइम गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने इसका भी सॉल्यूशन निकाला, और ट्रैक्टर इंडस्ट्री, जो मशीनरी थी एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में, उसके अंदर भी उन्होंने गेट्स ओपन किए बाय टाइम. देन थर्ड पॉइंट इज फॉल इन टैक्स रेवेन्यू. ऑफ कोर्स, इफ यू आर liberalizing your economy, if you are removing all the unnecessary taxes, unnecessary means tariffs and all, so this will surely decrease the tax revenues of the government. So because of liberalization, the tax revenue of the government, which was earned from the tariffs, decreased. So and not only the tax revenues, as I told you that under the liberalization we remove the licensing system also. Now this licensing system also leads to some sort of earnings for the government, and which was decreased. Fourth is increasing dependence on developed economies. Like, if we are getting imports from others, people are getting goods and services from us, which is exports for us. So the thing is this, that by time India, I will say that India got matured. Previously, we were very much stick to the import substitution. Please don't import this thing. Please don't. There is no need to import that particular good from the rest of the world. We'll try to produce at our own. But then we studied about so many concepts that if we are focusing on the production, on those things for which we have abundant resource, then we can easily import that good which we are lacking with, which we have no enough resources. The thing is this, guys, that if your economy is globalized, if your trading partner is globalized, then just try to shift your resources to that product which you can produce efficiently, and don't try to produce that product which you cannot produce efficiently if you can get that product at cheaper rate from your neighbor country or from your trading partner. If you can get that good in cheap rates, what is the need to produce at your own? The thing is this, that because of this thing, we got some advantage. The advantage was this, that now we are producing that particular good in which we have abundant factors. And simultaneously, we are importing that good from a developed economy or from any other economy for which we have lack of resources. So it has its own benefit, but the negative is this, that we are getting dependent on on that particular economy. हम उस पर्टिकुलर इकोनॉमी के ऊपर डिपेंड होते जा रहे हैं और कुछ भी नहीं. तो ये कहीं ना कहीं उसका एक नेगेटिव इफेक्ट है. व्हाट इज द पॉइंट? बिकॉज ऑफ हैवी इन्वेस्टमेंट फ्रॉम डेवलप्ड इकोनॉमीज, इंडिया इज गेटिंग डिपेंडेंट अपॉन देम. इंडिया उस पर डिपेंड हो रहा है. आफ्टर रिफॉर्म्स, external shocks can damage the Indian industrial and tertiary sector very easily. So, if we are getting dependent upon them, there is always a fear of external shocks. Means if something will happen in that country, so that will of course affect ours also. और हमारी कंट्री को भी इफेक्ट करेगा. चलिए जल्दी से गाइस अब हम आ जाते हैं इसकी एक्सरसाइज पे. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द एक्सरसाइज. First, state the meaning of economic reforms. Economic reforms refer those measures which are adopted for the speedy growth of economy, efficiency in production and make competitive environment. कि economic reforms क्या है? कुछ भी नहीं, बस ये कि जिससे economic growth हो, speedy economic growth हो, production में efficiency आए और क्या इकोनॉमी में एनवायरमेंट कॉम्पिटिटिव बने. दूसरा क्वेश्चन, हाउ डज इंक्रीज इन फिस्कल डेफिसिट क्रिएट द रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म्स. पहली बात, फिस्कल डेफिसिट होते क्या है गाइस? फिस्कल डेफिसिट इज बेसिकली व्हाट द बोरिंग रिक्वायरमेंट. यू विल स्टडी दिस थिंग इन क्लास 12th ऑल्सो. क्लास 12th का ही एक टॉपिक भी है और वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक कंसिडर किया जाता है. अभी के लिए आप बस ये मान के चलें कि फिस्कल डेफिसिट इज द बोरिंग रिक्वायरमेंट, कि हाँ इतना पैसा तो मेरे को बोरो करना पड़ेगा. तो ड्यू टू इंक्रीजिंग फिस्कल डेफिसिट, द इंटरेस्ट पेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट फॉर बोरिंग्स बिकम 36.4% ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट एक्सपेंडिचर. सो दिस इज अ वेरी वेरी ह्यूज अमाउंट. तो इस पर्टिकुलर सिनेरियो की वजह से इंडिया के बजट पर एक बहुत हैवी इंपैक्ट पड़ा. हैवी इंपैक्ट इसलिए पड़ा क्योंकि जब आपको इतना ह्यूज अमाउंट सिर्फ इंटरेस्ट के लिए पे करना पड़ रहा है, तो आप अपनी इकोनॉमी में डेवलपमेंट के लिए पैसा कहां से लाएंगे? आप तो ज्यादातर पैसा लोन चुकाने में लगा रहे हो. अगर आप ज्यादातर पैसा लोन को चुकाने में खर्च करोगे तो इकोनॉमी की ग्रोथ के लिए पैसा कहां से आएगा? सिंपल सी बात. सो इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म्स बिकम एसेंशियल फॉर द गवर्नमेंट. अगर आप इतना सारा पैसा लोन चुकाने पे खर्च कर रहे हैं तो उतना पैसा कमाया भी तो जाना चाहिए, इसीलिए रिफॉर्म्स लाए गए. तीसरा, state the name of economic reform which makes free to economy from direct or physical controls imposed by the government. Of course, it is liberalization. कि जितने भी आपके अननेसेसरी रिस्ट्रिक्शंस हैं उनको हम क्या करें, हटाएं। यही है आपका, दैट इज व्हाट इज योर लिबरलाइजेशन इज फाइन। नाउ नेक्स्ट, what is mean by foreign exchange reserve? Foreign exchange reserve simply means the stock of foreign currency held with the government at given point of time called foreign exchange reserves. जितना भी आपके पास फॉरेन करेंसी का स्टॉक है एक पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पर, उसे ही बोलते हैं फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व्स। नाउ why the requirement of fiscal reforms arose under liberalization? फिजिकल रिफॉर्म्स की जरूरत क्या पड़ी थी? रिफॉर्म्स की जरूरत इसलिए थी क्योंकि हमारा टैक्स सिस्टम बहुत ही ज्यादा इवेसिव था, कॉम्प्लेक्स था। हमारे टैक्स सिस्टम के अंदर आप ये बोल सकते हैं कि इवेजन का स्कोप, इवेजन का मतलब मैंने आपको बताया था चोरी, इवेजन का स्कोप बहुत हाई था, मतलब लोग बड़े आराम से बच के निकल सकते थे। तो पॉइंट क्या है, prior to liberalization, tax structure was highly complicated and evasive. Fearing a heavy burden of taxation, it promotes evades of the tax, payment of tax. So tax reform become essential for the government. कि आप अपने टैक्स सिस्टम को आसान बनाएं, आप लेस इवेसिव बनाएं, और अगर कोई टैक्स की चोरी करे तो उसको स्ट्रिक्ट बनाएं। यही था हमारा फिस्कल रिफॉर्म्स। नाउ व्हाट इज मीन बाय डायरेक्ट टैक्स? डायरेक्ट टैक्स आर दोज टैक्सेस गाइज विच आर पेड बाय द सेम पर्सन ऑन विच इट इज इम्पोज्ड। जिस पे लगा वही पे करेगा और कोई पे नहीं कर सकता। एग्जाम्पल, आपकी इनकम तो टैक्स भी आप ही पे करेंगे, आपकी प्रॉपर्टी तो टैक्स भी आप ही को पे करना पड़ेगा। ये वो टैक्स बर्डन है जिसे आप आगे किसी और के ऊपर पास ऑन नहीं कर सकते। सो डायरेक्ट टैक्सेस आर दोज टैक्सेस द बर्डन ऑफ विच कैन नॉट बी शिफ्टेड टू अदर्स। एग्जाम्पल जैसे इनकम टैक्स दे ही रखा है जिसको आप आगे पास ऑन नहीं कर सकते। तो यू मस्ट बी थिंकिंग कि ऐसा भी कोई टैक्स है जिसे आप आगे पास ऑन कर सकते हो, तो वो कौन सा टैक्स है? So guys, those taxes whose burden can be shifted to some other guy, to some other person is known as indirect tax. Are those taxes the burden of which can be shifted onto other, for example, sales tax. Now, almost all the indirect taxes are summed up into one, popularly known as GST, Goods and Services Tax. तो वो टैक्सेस जो इम्पोज हो किसी और के ऊपर और पे करे कोई और वैसे कौन होता है? कंज्यूमर, अल्टीमेट कंज्यूमर, उसे बोलते हैं हम इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेस। नेक्स्ट, व्हाट इज दिस डीवैल्यूएशन? दीज आर द क्लास 12th टर्म्स, बट स्टिल यू मस्ट नो अबाउट दैट थिंग। डीवैल्यूएशन का मतलब क्या होता है गाइस? जब कोई कंट्री अपनी करेंसी की वैल्यू किसी दूसरी करेंसी की वैल्यू के रिस्पेक्ट में खुद ही गिरा दे, मतलब खुद अपनी इच्छा से। सो क्या लिखा हुआ है? डीवैल्यूएशन रेफर्स टू लॉरिंग इन द ऑफिशियल वैल्यू ऑफ करेंसी विद रिस्पेक्ट टू गोल्ड और फॉरेन करेंसी। सिंपल, बट दैट इज डन बाय द ऑफिशियल एक्शन। यू हैव टू मेंशन दिस थिंग। ऑफिशियल एक्शन मतलब खुद गवर्नमेंट। सो डीवैल्यूएशन refers to lowering in the official value of currency with respect to gold or foreign currency, and that is done by the government itself. Next, state the meaning of privatization. I guess a really very easy definition for you. Privatization means what? Is the general process of involving the private sector in the ownership of operation of the state-owned enterprises। कि जो enterprises खुद आपकी है उसके अंदर जब प्राइवेट सेक्टर का आप रोल डाल दो तो वो प्राइवेटाइजेशन कहलाता है। ओके, Next, what is mean by globalization? I hope you know the meaning of globalization very well. It may be defined as a process associated with the increasing openness, growing interdependence and deepening the economic integration in the world economy, as I told you. तो बार बार हमने इसकी डेफिनेशन रिपीट करी है. And now there is the last question. What benefit goes to domestic industries of reduction in tariff? तो टैरिफ गिरने का उनको क्या प्रॉफिट होगा? So due to reduction in tariff, imports would become cheaper. बाहर से मंगाना सामान सस्ता हो जाएगा. अल्टीमेटली उनका जो प्रॉफिट मार्जिन है वो बढ़ जाएगा ऑन एक्सपोर्ट्स फॉर द डोमेस्टिक इंडस्ट्रीज. तो उनका काम आसान हो जाता है, सस्ता हो जाता है, अल्टीमेटली काम उनका बढ़ेगा, प्रॉफिट मार्जिन उनका बढ़ेगा. फाइन. सो गाइस, वी आर डन with the unit number 2 of IED class 11th economics. That wasn't a big unit, but yes, I am telling you this thing constantly that this is the most worthy unit, the most scoring unit. It's impossible कि इसके ऊपर questions ना आए. So please इस topic के सारे जितने सब topics हैं उनको अपने tips पे रखिए. Keep on revising this stuff, especially the definition and their policies as well. So, we'll catch you soon in the next video, guys. Till then, keep learning, keep watching our videos, keep revising, study hard. We'll catch you soon. Thank you so much, guys.